Liverpool's next chapter. Wesley Franca to replace Trent Alexander-Arnold. Have you heard the news about Liverpool's superstar right back? It looks like big changes are coming to Anfield. Trent Alexander-Arnold, Liverpool's homegrown hero, is set to leave for Real Madrid, and the Reds are already lining up his replacement. Let's dive into what's happening and what it means for Liverpool's future. Saying goodbye to a Liverpool legend. Trent Alexander-Arnold has been part of Liverpool for 20 years. Yes, you read that right. 20 years. Starting in the academy as a young boy, he grew up to become one of the world's best right-backs. But now, it seems his time at Anfield is coming to an end. According to reports, Trent has decided not to sign a new contract with Liverpool. Instead, he's heading to Spanish giants Real Madrid on a free transfer when this season ends. It's a move that will certainly set him up financially for life, but it leaves a huge gap in Liverpool's team. Why is this such a big loss for Liverpool? Just look at the numbers. 22 goals scored, 88 assists provided, 33 caps for England. Countless magical moments in a red shirt. How do you replace someone like that? It's not easy, but Liverpool already has plans in motion. Who is Wesley Franca? Meet Wesley Franca, the Brazilian right-back who could be stepping into Trent's boots next season. Currently playing for Flamengo in Brazil, Wesley is quickly making a name for himself. Born in September 2003 in Alexander, Brazil, Wesley, whose full name is Wesley Vinicius Franca Lima, joined Flamengo in 2020. He was signed from a small team called Clube Atlético Tubarão for very little money. Talk about a bargain. Since making his debut in December 2021 at just 17 years old, Wesley has played 108 games for Flamengo, scored 2 goals, provided 3 assists, won the Copa Libertadores, won the Copa do Brasil twice, won the Carioca, earned 2 caps for the Brazilian national team. Not bad for a 21-year-old, right? What makes Wesley special? So what kind of player is Wesley? If you're hoping for a carbon copy of Trent, you might need to adjust your expectations. Wesley is described as bullet fast. Speed is definitely his standout quality. Like Trent, he loves to get forward and join the attack. At 5 feet 8 inches, about 173 centimeters, he's not the tallest player, but his technical ability makes up for it. Felipe Luis, the former Chelsea defender who now manages Flamengo, has incredibly high hopes for him. He's been quoted saying, "There's no ceiling for this kid. He's exceptional." When a top-level former player says something like that, it's worth paying attention. But is he the complete package? Well, not quite yet. South American football expert Tim Vickery has pointed out that Wesley still has work to do on the defensive side of his game. When Wesley made his debut for Brazil against Argentina, he had a tough night as Brazil lost 4-1. He's a very attacking fullback, Vickery said. Very quick, bullet fast, but he's not the greatest defensive fullback. Does that remind you of anyone? Perhaps a young Trent Alexander-Arnold? Even now, some critics say defending isn't Trent's strongest point, so maybe Wesley will fit right in. Flamengo's director confirms Wesley is likely leaving. The most exciting part of this story for Liverpool fans is that Flamengo seems to be preparing for Wesley's departure. Jose Boto, Flamengo's director of football, recently made comments that strongly suggest Wesley will be leaving this summer. Really? With the way he plays now? With the needs of the European market, it will not be easy for him to stay here after the summer window, Boto said. He added, "We are already working to be prepared for Wesley's departure if that happens. But, of course, that will only happen if the clubs are willing to pay what we think Wesley is worth at the moment, which is quite high." In fact, Flamengo has already signed a replacement. Former Manchester City and Juventus right-back Danilo is returning to the club. That's a pretty clear sign they expect Wesley to leave, isn't it? Boto also highlighted what makes Wesley special. There are not many right-backs in the world with the technical ability and speed that he has. What is Liverpool's plan? Liverpool's approach to replacing Trent seems to be twofold. 1. Promote from within. Connor Bradley, another academy product, will likely get more playing time. The Northern Irish right-back has already shown promise when given chances in the first team. 2. Bring in new talent. This is where Wesley comes in, as a young player with huge potential who could grow into the role. This fits with Liverpool's traditional approach of developing talent rather than always buying the finished article. Remember how they signed a young Robertson from Hull City? Or how they brought in Hutter before he was considered world-class? Liverpool's new manager, Arne Slot, hasn't directly commented on Wesley or Alexander-Arnold, but he has dropped hints about summer transfer plans. We are looking at every single position, and we are looking at the team. Now we have a very good idea about that. I'm not going to tell you which positions we prefer, but it is clear that we've assessed the squad, we've assessed what we think where we can improve, and that's where we try to go for in the summer. Are there other options? Wesley isn't the only right-back on Liverpool's radar. Reports suggest they are also looking at Kylian Sildilia from SC Freiburg in Germany. According to transfer insider Fraser Fletcher, Liverpool has already made contact about a potential move. There's also always the chance that Liverpool could surprise everyone with a completely different signing. Football transfers are unpredictable. Remember when nobody saw the Luis Diaz signing coming until it was almost done? Speaking of Diaz, the article mentions that he won't be joining Barcelona despite rumors. The Spanish club has apparently backed away after Liverpool set a high price tag on the Colombian winger. What would Wesley bring to Liverpool? If Wesley does sign for Liverpool, what can fans expect to see? First, don't expect him to immediately replace everything Trent brings. Alexander-Arnold's passing range and set-piece ability are almost unique in world football. Wesley is a different type of player, more about direct speed and dribbling than those pinpoint 60-yard passes. Second, there will likely be a period of adjustment. Moving from Brazilian football to the Premier League is a big step. The pace is different, the physicality is different, and the tactical demands are different. Even Luis Diaz, who hit the ground running at Liverpool, had moments where he needed time to adapt. But Wesley's speed could add a new dimension to Liverpool's attack. Imagine him bombing down the right wing, creating space and opportunities with his pace. If he can combine well with Mohamed Salah, assuming Salah stays, it could be a frightening prospect for opposition defenders. The defensive side might take longer to develop, but under the right coaching, those raw materials, his speed, his technical ability, could be shaped into something special. The bigger picture for Liverpool. Trent Alexander-Arnold's departure marks the end of an era for Liverpool. Along with Virgil van Dijk and Mohamed Salah, who are both also nearing the end of their contracts, Trent has been a cornerstone of Liverpool's recent success. But football moves quickly. Just as Klopp replaced Rodgers, and Slot has now replaced Klopp, new players must step in for those who leave. This is part of the natural cycle of a football club. For Wesley, this could be the opportunity of a lifetime. Going from Flamengo to Liverpool would be a huge step up, from one giant club to another, but into what many consider the best league in the world. For Liverpool fans, it's a reminder that nothing stays the same forever. The club has been through this before, losing stars like Suarez, Coutinho, and Mane, and has often emerged stronger. What about the price tag? One detail missing from the reports is how much Wesley might cost. Boto mentioned that Flamengo has a value in our head that is quite high. But what does that mean in actual numbers? Given Wesley's potential, his age, and his international caps, he won't come cheap. But compared to established European right-backs, he might still represent good value. Liverpool has shown in the past that they are willing to pay for potential. Look at the fees for Darwin Núñez or Dominic Szoboszlai. If they believe Wesley can develop into a world-class player, they'll likely be prepared to meet Flamengo's demands. When could this happen? The transfer window opens in June, which lines up perfectly with Boto's comments about Wesley being difficult to keep after the summer window. Before that, Wesley will finish the season with Flamengo and potentially play more games for Brazil. Every performance will be scrutinized by Liverpool's scouting team, making sure he's the right fit before any deal is finalized. For Liverpool fans, it might be worth watching some Flamengo games to get a glimpse of what could be coming to Anfield next season. What will the fans think? Replacing a homegrown hero like Trent Alexander-Arnold is never easy. Fans have an emotional connection to players who came through the academy, and Trent's Liverpool roots run deep. Wesley would be walking into big shoes to fill, and patience would be needed. The good news is that Liverpool fans generally understand the process of bringing in young talent and developing it. They've seen it work time and again. Having Connor Bradley as another option also takes some pressure off. As another academy product, Bradley already has the fans' support, which might give Wesley more time and space to develop without the weight of being the new Trent solely on his shoulders. Questions to consider. As this story develops, here are some questions worth thinking about. 1. Can Wesley adapt quickly to Premier League football? 2. Will Liverpool adjust their tactical approach with a different type of right back? 3. How much of Trent's creative responsibility will shift to other players? 4. Could Wesley and Bradley end up sharing the right back position based on different game situations? 5. Will Wesley's defensive abilities improve with Premier League experience and coaching? The verdict: exciting times ahead. Change is always a mix of scary and exciting. Losing a player of Trent Alexander-Arnold's quality hurts, but bringing in fresh talent like Wesley Franca opens up new possibilities. Based on everything we know, Wesley looks like an exciting prospect with huge potential. Is not the finished article yet, but neither was Trent when he first broke into the Liverpool team. What makes this situation particularly interesting is that Liverpool seems to be planning ahead. They are not scrambling for a last-minute replacement. They've identified their targets early and are moving decisively. For a club with Liverpool's resources and track record of smart recruitment, this approach bodes well. They've turned young talents into world beaters before, and they'll back themselves to do it again. So while it's sad to see Trent leave, Liverpool fans can look forward to watching a new star develop. Will Wesley Franca be the next big thing at Anfield? Only time will tell, but the signs are certainly promising. What do you think about Wesley potentially joining Liverpool? Would he be a good replacement for Trent? Let us know in the comments below. Remember, in football as in life, endings are just new beginnings in disguise. Liverpool's next chapter is about to be written, and it might just have a Brazilian flair to it.